Hey guys, last night I went and saw Aquaman as I was called off from work, so like, hey mom, want to go see, and she was interested in it. So, I decided to rest on it, then tell you what I thought, to make sure if I still thought what I thought, or if it was just... I wanted to make sure I was down from my high first. And yeah, a lot of the... I still think about the same way, pretty close. This is another one of those really good entries for DC. If anything could save their train wreck of a cinematic universe, this and Wonder Woman would help a lot. Of course, spoilers. And if you hadn't figured it out by now, a movie review is probably going to spoil the movie, unless you're extremely careful. And so I'm just gonna go right into it. Any spoilers that show up as I talk about this. But yeah, I was pleasantly surprised. They showed a surprising amount of growth for every character involved. Except for maybe the main villain. But DC has a habit of doing this, but they managed it, as they tend to. Two villains in this movie, and they're both handled really well, I think. They're both, you have one that actually is given an arc. The character of Black Manta. You basically get his origin story. They basically gave him a hero's journey. They put a lot of focus on Black Manta and his rise to being Black Manta. And although they tampered with it a little bit in Marvel's Infinity War, one could argue that Thanos went through the hero's journey. This definitely put Black Manta on the hero's journey. Only he's a villain. And his path is vengeance. He wants to kill Aquaman because Aquaman did not save his father. And therefore killed his father in his mind. So he wants vengeance. Basically going through this entire arc. There's a whole sequence of him getting Atlantean tech and converting it into the ridiculous suit that we come to love for Black Manta. And in that process, it explains why his suit looks so ridiculous. And I appreciate that. And they actually did a really good job when you have the reveal that it actually doesn't look that bad. Sure, he's got a giant helmet, but it's functional. There's a reason for it. And it actually doesn't look that bad on him. So I appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot. I've never really seen a character arc, a whole arc for a villain until now. And that's great. That's absolutely great. I'm also pleased to report that unlike Marvel, none of the characters died. Well, none of the main characters died. Not even the villains. The villains live. That is super rare. You wouldn't get that out of Marvel. Not really. Not that often. But DC, they both live. Ocean Master and Black Manta live. They can go on. And Manta would be a pretty good addition to something they were hinting at the end of Justice League, which was the Injustice League. We're gathering a group of people. Manta's a good person to throw at Aquaman. That works. Yet Arthur himself, rising to the status that would be befitting of a king. He just goes from some roughneck, Maine-born, because it's set in Maine, except for the ocean, Maine-born hick, tough guy, to someone who actually fits the nobility without being, full of himself. He's definitely still man of action kind of dude. But, I like that. Characters we're introduced to in the movie, we got to feel for them quite a bit more than I would have expected from other films. It is a beautiful spectacle. The effects, there may be from time to time you see stuff that looks fake, but it doesn't look it doesn't look entirely real. I wouldn't say it looks fake, but there are some things that that seem off, but you can let it go because the rest of it is gorgeous. And also at this point in time, it's like video games, you're really going to go on about graphics at this point. Everything looks good. Deal with it. It's hardly worth mentioning now. But, yeah, it's definitely not the dark and gritty that we were getting out of DC in the past. Thank you very much, Zack Snyder. No, it's brighter, it's happier. The Atlantean scenes were outshining Marvel, which, to be honest, Marvel was getting kind of dark. But anyway, I appreciate it a lot. I like this movie, and I definitely recommend it. If DC movies are set to this now, are going to be of this quality from this point on, then I look forward to what they have in store for us. And maybe, just maybe, DC's going to be the king of the theaters in the future if this keeps up. They had a rocky start with their first three. Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, and Justice League was sadly a bit of a flop. It should have been so much better, but it wasn't. But anyway, we're pushing those aside. We got Wonder Woman. We had Aquaman. These are actually good. I liked Suicide Squad, but I understand people wound up not liking Suicide Squad. I remember people actually liking Suicide Squad and then all of a sudden started hating it. I don't know what happened there. I don't know what changed their minds, but I never changed my mind. I liked it. I had complaints, but I still overall liked it. Anyway, enough of that. Aquaman, really good. See it. I don't know if it's in 3D, if they put it in theaters in 3D. It looks like it could be, and it looks like it might look really good in 3D. I'm not a fan of 3D myself. But anyway, that's pretty much my verdict. This is a impromptu review, of course. This is just... I had to say something about it. I wasn't even planning on reviewing this at all. Oh, duh, impromptu. But here I am. I slept on it. I still wanted to, so here I am. And that's it. So see the movie if you really like superheroes, or just wanted to give Aquaman of all people a chance. But yeah.